I decided to challenge myself and I moved to the IT support services. I was quite lucky and had the chance to work for one of the biggest companies in Portugal, and this was beginning of the 90s, so the explosion of computers in corporate. So I work on that company and I set up the internal IT department, and then I manage that. Then when I got to my 30s, I decided to challenge myself again, and I quit my comfortable corporate job and I start my first company in Portugal. So my idea was, with everything I learned about systems and process on supporting huge amount of users, I wanted to bring that knowledge and know-how and help small and medium companies. Then a few years later, it was the time for my wife to challenge me, and we moved to the UK in 2010. I got a couple of jobs in IT companies in Cambridge, and then in 2012, I decided, well, I'm going to challenge myself again and start my second company here in the UK. So with £3,000, I bought a laptop, an iPhone, and working from home, getting some cloud solutions. I grew my company from 0 clients to 70 clients, supporting more than 500 users and having 6 members of staff. Then last year, I decided to join forces with another IT MSP, and we become Techwyse. So the merger of Shadowfax and Clear IT Solutions, we are Techwyse. Today, we are almost 20. We have 150 clients. We support more than 2,500 users and maintain 200 servers. We are a Microsoft certified partner, and we are also an award-winning company. So as you probably noticed, the world has changed a lot in the last couple of years. We used to have money in our wallets. Now we pay everything contactless. We have digital wallets on our phones, and we pay with phones and contactless. We used to go shopping on high street and shopping centers. Now we shop online and everything is delivered to our door. We used to go networking events in person, have coffee and chat with people. Now we do things like this, networking online and presentations online. We used to dress up and have to travel to go to work and have meetings. Now we half dress and we have meetings and work from home. So many years ago, 2,000 years ago, a very wise man in Greece said that the only constant in life is change, and I truly believe that. And I think for the first time in our lives, we can see clearly that there's a different way of doing things. There's the old way and the new way, and I think it's quite clear to all of us. And the problem with these things is change normally creates fear in us. It's our brain is hardwired for that. Is a survival mechanism. But the reality is, change normally creates more opportunities than anything else. And a good example of that is the internet. So when the internet come out, and everybody was feared that a lot of jobs will be lost, and yes, there was a lot of jobs that were lost, but for each job was lost by the internet, 1.2 jobs were created also because of the internet. So in the end, we end up with more jobs than we had before. So if we go back a little bit in time and we look at how we used to work, so we start being hunter-gatherers. We're just roaming around, do our thing whenever we want. And that was it. Then the agriculture revolution happened, and we start building settlements. People start living, in villages and settlements, and everybody start working in the fields and raising livestock. Then the industrial revolution happened, and everybody, was moved from the fields to the factories. So this was the first time in the world that we had a huge unemployment levels never seen before, and that is because machinery went into the fields, and a lot of people got without a job. But again, that bad thing generated a very good thing, that is, all these people were able to go into factories, and factories start popping up like mushrooms, and everybody was working in factories. Then the information revolution happened, and nowadays everybody is working in nice comfy offices, so very little people working in factories, and now it's just robots and just a couple of people monitoring these robots. So my question is, what is going to be the future? Where are we going to work in the future? So I think from everywhere. We are going to work from the coffee shop, from the airport, from on holidays, or when we are abroad, or even from a building rooftop. It doesn't matter anymore where are we going to work from. And these changes are creating a lot of challenges for all of us, but especially for companies. Again, also for the first time, we have 4 different generations in the workforce working together. And this, as you can see by the statistics below, this creates a big challenge, because these generations, they have different work characteristics, and they have different expectations from work. So companies, they need to be able to please all these type of workers, and and that is quite challenging. On top of this, we need to add the complexity of technology. I don't know any company nowadays that can survive without using some sort of technology. Then with working remotely, we have a problem with collaboration and teamwork. How do we integrate these people? How we make sure that everybody can work together efficiently? I have to talk about cybersecurity, because this is another new topic for all of us and for companies. It's not just having the physical security of our premises, is how do we secure our systems, and that is a big challenge. And then we have the human aspect, that is, all these new things, they create uncertainty and anxiety on people. So we need to make sure that we support everybody and help them with any mental health issues. Because of all these complex systems, making sure that everybody is on the same level, everybody understands everything, is very important. So training people to make sure that we are all at the same level, we understand what's going on, is super important. And then finally, making sure that we can have a perfect work-life balance, and we are not, working too much or not working enough. So that is a big challenge. So what I think is going to be the future is what I call hybrid working. So it's the ability to work from home and from the office, and there's a few different types of hybrid working that companies are adopting, and I'm going to cover the 4 of them. And the first one is what it's called remote first hybrid working. So remote first is, for example, what I do. I work 4 days from home, and 1 day I go into the office. So the advantage of this is reducing costs in terms of office space, and as you know, premises for companies is one of the biggest costs they have. It increased productivity. There's a lot of studies that shows that people that work from home, they are more productive, and most of the times they are more satisfied with their work. The challenge is making sure that we can keep the culture and the community, so that it's a little bit more difficult to maintain. And then there's also the risk of employees to feel isolated. The other option, or the second option, is office first. So this is when most people work from the office, and then they have some days that they work from home, and that is completely flexible. It's up to them to decide what they do. So again, the advantage is the flexibility, and people can choose whatever it's best for them. It helps maintain a little bit more the culture because people spend more time in the office than working from home. But at the same time, the difficult bit it will be understanding how much people will be in the office, where are they, and how can we forecast this type of visits. Then the third one is probably used more by big corporations, is what's called fixed hybrid working. So this is the company decides for you where are the days that you are in the office and which days are you not in the office. So this is easier for them to forecast how much people it will be there. I think it will be better because big corporations, they need to manage a lot of people, so it's easier to control them and understand when they are in the office, when they can book meetings, everything that is, brainstorming, teamwork, it can be much easier managed. The challenges is maybe you're not going to please everybody because people are probably going to work from home days that they don't want to, or they have to go to the office when they don't want to, and they're not really going to save any money on space because the space is there. And then the last one is what I call the flexible hybrid working, and this for me is digital nomads. It's probably what I call the new hunter-gatherers. So these people work, from everywhere. It doesn't matter where they are. And companies that adopt this model, they need to be very forward-thinking, and they need to have, they need to be very flexible, understand the individual needs, and they need to have the systems to allow this flexibility. How can we do this right? We need to first listen to everybody. We are all different. We all have different needs. So make sure that before you adopt any model, you listen to everybody and understand what are their concerns, what they want to, what they expect to. Then make sure that you have everything well defined. Make sure that jobs descriptions and jobs priorities are well defined. Make sure that the tasks are also well defined. So make sure that everybody knows exactly what they are doing and when they are doing and what is expected from them. Be inclusive. So make sure that, again, we are all different. We all have different needs. We all have different ways of feeling things. So don't exclude anyone, and understand that it's up to the individual. And then finally, make sure that you have the systems in place. And systems, I don't mean technology, I mean systems. So for example, if you go to McDonald's, they have a system to make burgers. There's no technology there. It's just a system. People know how to do things. Sometimes we confuse system with technology, and I think there's a big difference. For me, technology is like a turbo. If you have an engine, and if you have a good engine and apply a turbo, that engine will be much better. If you have a rubbish engine and if you apply a turbo, the engine probably is going to blow. So the engine is the systems, and make sure that you have these systems before you look at technology. So when we have the systems, then if we look at technology, I'm going to touch 4 areas that I think are, the most important things for companies to look at. The 4 areas that they are quite important. First is digital communications. So with everybody across, working remotely, we need to make sure that the communication is seamless, that it doesn't matter if we are emailing from my computer or from my laptop or from my iPhone or from my iPad. I need to have access to all these tools. And I'm sure most of you know these tools, Outlook, Gmail, Zoom, Teams. That is quite common nowadays. Then there's a few other things like 3CX, making sure that your phones, physical phones, work seamlessly. So, for example, if you are in the office and you have a desk phone, when that number rings, if you are at home, it will ring on your mobile phone, for example, or on your computer. So everything is integrated in just one place. Calendly, so because we need to do a lot of meetings online nowadays, so making sure that everybody can have access to your calendars and can book things and time with you in an easy way. Exclaimer is a signature system. So, for example, when you send an email from our Outlook, your signature looks quite nice and pretty. But this software allows that same signature to be exactly the same if you send an email from your phone or from your tablet, and also can create the same aspect and the same layout for everybody in the company. Other area quite important is collaboration and teamwork. Again, because we are working, remotely, we need to make sure that everybody knows what they are doing. Managers, they can need to have the visibility what their teams are doing, and tools like Microsoft 365, Monday, Slack, which are task management tools, are very, very important. CRM systems for sales force people like Pipedrive and Salesforce, also very, very important. Xero QuickBooks for everything that is finance. DocuSign and other ones for collecting signatures and making sure that people sign documents in a very easy way. Then I'm going to be a little bit geeky now, and I think nowadays everybody understands cloud and understands the concept of cloud. So it's everything that, so we move from on-premise systems to cloud systems. So everything now is accessible from anywhere. Virtual desktop computer is the next stage, is making sure that our computers are also in the cloud. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can access to your computer from any device in the world. So this is quite useful when we have big teams of hundreds and thousands of people that we need to deploy computers, and we need to make sure that the security is quite tight and controlled. So these systems allow us to do that. I'm not going into a lot of details. If you want to know more about that, just let me know in the end of the meeting and I can go a little bit in more detail. And then lastly, hybrid meetings. This is going to be the norm. Every company needs to have a meeting room with proper equipment to make sure that we can have meetings when we are there, and allow remote people to join the meetings. So investing in equipment to make sure that we have nice big screens, webcams that work properly, they zoom in, pan out, speakers that pick up the sound properly and everybody can listen and understand things properly. It's very important, and the software on the background to manage all of that. So that's it for me. If you want to know more about technology, we have a newsletter that we call Wise Up, that is on LinkedIn, so you can subscribe. And I normally write monthly articles about technology. I'm going through Modern Workplace. I have a few articles there, and I have new ones coming in. And also, if you want, you can just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always there, trying to share my knowledge and help people to understand a little bit more technology and what technology can help them with their companies. So thank you very much for listening to me. And do we have any questions?
We don't have any in the chat, so we just.
No, I have a question. I have a question, Maria, if there is.
Yeah,
time.
of course.
Yes, please.
Hello, Nuno.
Hello.
What I wanted to ask was around, as a HR professional, obviously we work a lot with companies to make sure, we work a lot with companies to make sure that flexible working is an option. Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to ask more was around the technology question, which was around, I've seen things like, you can, if you want to chat with somebody outside of a meeting, you can be highlighted as green, available to chat, or red, that you're not available. I've seen different things on different sort of conversations about different technology to be able to make communication when you're in different places more like when you're sitting next to somebody and you just want to have a quick chat with them about something.
Yep.
So what other technologies are there out there that are maybe coming through, maybe not perhaps available for small and medium-sized businesses yet, but that might come through that might help those small and medium-sized businesses use better technology going forward when they've got remote workers?
So I'm going to be a little bit biased because we are Microsoft partners. So I'm going to speak about a Microsoft tool that does that. So Teams, Microsoft Teams is very good on that. So Microsoft Teams is very similar to Zoom that we are using now for doing these meetings, but also they have an internal business chat module that you can configure for that. So you can change the status. So for example, if you are working from home, you can change your status and people know that you're working from home. And also because it links with your calendar. So if you are in a meeting, it's clever enough to tell other people that you are in that meeting. So you will be blocked out. You will not be disturbed if they talk to you. So is this type of things that you are trying to look at?
I'm more interested in what's coming down the line. Do you know, are there things that will be launching in the next 12 months or a few years that we don't know about yet?
No, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I know that again, speaking from Microsoft, I know they are developing new features on Teams since the pandemic, because I don't know if you know, but Microsoft acquired Skype in 2010 for $8.5 billion. And Skype is the core product of Teams. So it took them 12 years to develop Skype into what is Teams now. And it was just the pandemic that accelerated everything. So before the pandemic, no one was using these tools whatsoever. The technology was there, the technology was available, people just don't want it to use. So I know Microsoft is putting a lot of effort and a lot of developers in pushing new solutions. So I'm sure we will have more stuff coming in, and with AI also being a big thing, I'm sure they will incorporate a lot of AI in these tools and make life easier for us.
Because I know there's a lot of AI stuff coming through now, and I thought maybe there might be some more stuff. Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, that's all right.
Further questions from anyone?
No? Okay.
I can see Trina said in the chat that they've got about 100
No, I am.
staff.
For some reason, Zoom has
Interact.
just decided to ditch my headset. How annoying. Did it yesterday to me as well. Here we go. Yeah. The wonders of Zoom, or not.
Yeah, there's Trina asked about Skype was gone. Yeah, exactly. So Skype was launched in 2003, and then in 2010 Microsoft bought it for 8.5 billion, and they have been use it as the core product for their teams. So that was the destination of Skype.
The end destination of Skype. Kerry, in answer to your question, we use Teams a lot, and obviously Nuno and I both hybrid work. I'm not sure what technology could improve upon Teams in terms of knowing when Nuno is and isn't there, for example. If I know Nuno's in a meeting, it will turn him red. If I've popped out for 5 minutes, mine will turn yellow and Nuno would see that I'm away. If I see Nuno's green, I know he's probably sat at his desk typing and I'm able to bug him.
I've been sort of looking to see what's coming, to see if I could see anything coming. I've read something about a system where you'll permanently have a camera on. Some organizations were trying to work out that you could have a camera on so you could see someone working at their desk. I don't know whether that was
like a Big Brother type thing.
some sort of big brother watching you, but it's
I'm
lots
not
of
sure that
companies.
fits with the kind of trust issue of hybrid working, to be honest.
No, I know, but lots of small businesses, when we speak to them, they say, yeah, but if people are working from home, we don't know what they're doing, conversation. So there is a trust issue anyway. And it's trying to get over that with customers and sort of saying to them, yeah, but if they're delivering what you want them to deliver, what's the problem? So, you know, as
I
a
think
HR
it's
professional,
more,
if there's a problem, we
Yeah.
can deal with the problem, you know?
Yeah,
That's the
I
thing.
think I think that is the big challenge for companies, is they need to understand that it's a shift in mentality, especially with the
Exactly.
younger generations. Okay, the new guys, the millennials and the Generation Z, they are not going to accept that type of job
No way.
because they will not do it. They will get another company
Mhm.
that he will do the things that they want to. So if companies get stuck in that old way of working and trying to replicate that model into the digital world, they are going to fail. They're not going to have, you know, good stuff working for them, because, you know, talented people will not like to work
No.
with that. So it's I understand your question and I understand your your worries, but I think that is a little bit more than technology, is more
Yeah.
a question of mindset and making sure that companies
yeah.
understand that.
Yeah,
I also
absolutely.
think,
Oh, go on. Sorry.
no, I was just going to say, like with tools like Monday.com, for example, my workload is on Monday, and as I complete a task, I set it to done. Nuno and I have a catch-up meeting once a week, so you know, Nuno can see what's left for me to do. If, for example, my Monday board had all my tasks still remaining, and it would be very obvious that I'd not done anything that week. So I think it's about using other tools rather than just seeing, are they there? You know, a camera is great for seeing that I'm at my desk, but it doesn't know that I'm watching Netflix on my screen, for example. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm working just because I'm sat here. It's more managing the productivity, which can be done through a productivity tool such as Monday, which already exists. So I think the answer is it's already there.
Yeah, no, and there's other things that can work out whether you're on Netflix anyway. So that's
Yeah.
but no, I mean, IT companies are, you know, you're at the forefront because all the IT companies that we know are all doing flexible working and working, you know, hybrid and working from home. Where some of the clients that we have might be described as dinosaurs anyway, in which case flexible working is far down the track. You know, some of them are still working with paper and pen and not working with even spreadsheets. So, you know,
Yeah.
when you're talking about this to an enlightened company, flexible working sounds like a great thing. I think it's, you've got an expanse of very small businesses, and some of the, you know, if you're talking about, I don't know, gardening companies, for example, or they're going to
Yeah,
be outside, so they're not
no,
going, they actually are working remotely because they're all working on different projects somewhere anyway. But
yeah,
technology to actually join them up is something maybe they don't really think about.
no, and you are right. Look, I don't think hybrid working is going to work for everybody. It will not. You know, it will work for companies in the services sector, where people are working from offices. You know, retail, hospitality, like you said, gardening. It's not going to be feasible. It's not going to work. So we need to understand also that this is not for everybody. Yes, I think 80% of the companies in the UK are in the service sector. So for those 80%, then yes, hybrid working is perfect. But then the other 20% is not going to work, and people need to understand that and need to adapt to these things. So it's not one size fits all. We need to understand that there are some business that hybrid working is not feasible. It's not going to work.
But technology is great because it's even, you know, people have iPads, they can use things to take pictures of the work they've done outside or whatever. There's always technology, even if it's not hybrid working, that
Yes,
can support businesses. So,
exactly.
Sorry,
Exactly.
I spoke
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Other thing that I will probably recommend for your clients is, you know, try to engage them with companies like ourselves. So, for example, most of our clients, they will do also remote working and hybrid working, and because one of the things that we do is not just break fix. We also try to understand their business model and help them to choose the right technology and make sure that they use the right things for them. So for example, when the pandemic happened, most of our clients, they were already on cloud systems, so it was quite easy to turn things off. Yes, some of them, they had to buy a few more laptops suddenly because half of them everybody was working from home, but the systems, they were there, so it was quite easy for us to keep maintaining and supporting our clients because the infrastructure was there. So it's a question of, again, more mentality than technology. Technology is available out there. It's just making sure that people understand and are willing to use it and to change, which triggers that fear, isn't it? And people sometimes don't want that. So
I have one final question.
Yep.
Before the pandemic, we were very low down across Europe in terms of home working, flexible working. During the pandemic, it went up to about 40% of the workforce were working from home. What is it now? Do you know whether it's gone back to
no, I don't think it's not going back. I don't have the exact figures, but I'm pretty sure they are quite high at the moment. And other thing that we were quite low compared with our European brothers is productivity and efficiency. So we were quite low compared with them, and I think the main reason for that was a little bit of lack of investing in technology. So we had a lot of people throw people into the mix to solve the problem, and sometimes you don't need to hire more people. You just need to make sure that the systems that I mentioned below, it's making sure that those systems are in place and people know what they're doing, and then use that technology to accelerate those systems and make those systems even more efficient. Sometimes I have a lot of people asking me, oh, I need a CRM system, and the first thing I ask them, okay, what is your sales process? Oh, I don't have one. So you don't need a CRM system. Forget about that. Just go back, tell me what is your sales process, what do you do in terms of your sales system. Then when you have that, we can have a look at the CRM for you. So before that, don't even worry. And I think that is something that companies, sometimes they get too excited. There's this fancy technology coming in, is going to solve all my problems. Maybe it will not. So we need to be very careful with that type of excitement. And look, I'm I'm very excited with technology. So I love technology. So, but I think sometimes we need to, slow down things a little bit. Does that make sense?
Sometimes they get caught up in what their competitors have as well. If competitor A has a CRM, they suddenly want a CRM. But like Nuno says, if the system isn't there, the CRM isn't going to be very helpful.
Yeah, no, I get that.